over the pond, US Vice President JD Vance has urged Brits to push back against those who object. Let's have a listen to what he said.
It's okay to be proud of your country. It's in fact a good thing to be proud of your country, and we should push back against the crazies who say we should be so ashamed of our culture and of our heritage that we shouldn't be willing to fly a flag. It's craziness. We got to call that craziness out. I'd encourage our European friends to follow suit.
Wouldn't you like to hear a politician, even if you don't like JD Vance, and I'm sure he's a bit of a bearded oddball, I don't dispute that, because anyone who goes into politics usually is at some point, but the level of confidence and surety, you know, I'm on your side kind of vibe. We don't get that with politicians here. Let's speak with Nick Buckley MBE, former Manchester mayoral candidate and author. Nick, good afternoon to you. I mean, you know all about insanity. We're certainly living through that era. I think, you know, in hundreds of years to come, when students look back, they'll talk about the Ice Age, they'll talk about the Space Age, and they'll talk about the Insane Age, and that's the one we're in at the moment.
It absolutely is. Everything you just said then to the build-up to this segment here, there's a word for it, and we need to start using that word, and that word is anglophobia. There is a movement in this country that hates the English, hates the British. Some of these people are foreigners. Many of these people are British citizens. Many of these people are English people, and their ancestors have been here for centuries. This isn't just necessarily a migrant problem. I don't normally do this on shows, but I wrote a book on it. I wrote a book on anglophobia. You can get it on Amazon. And there's two reasons why this is happening in the country that I explore in the book. The first one is, let's look at migrants and the children of migrants. Why are they in this country? Why do they perceive the country as negative? And the answer is simple. If you look at what the English, the British, the Western civilization has created and developed, and then you look at your ancestors and you realize they built a mud hut, you say to yourself, are white people more superior, or did they cheat? Well, the English cheated. That's an easier way to accept the failures of your ancestors. And for white English British people, why are they anglophobic? And you said it before, you said they're mentally ill. They are mentally ill. In my book, I explain all the different conditions, syndromes that can manifest themselves for someone to hate themselves, hate their civilization, hate their people, hate their country. Until we realise why people are like this, we're not going to solve this problem.
Yeah, and it's curious, isn't it? I said to a caller in the last section, Nick, we were touching on all of these subjects and the kind of overarching confusion and question marks that people like us have over this. And you will have a sort of, for want of a better phrase, I don't know, a left-wing thinker who is absolutely furious that people in Epping want to close a hotel, but has nothing to say on grooming gangs, just as that's the most obvious example. And you think, hang on, so you're a left-wing thinker, which ordinarily would put you in a place where you would be a defender of victims, stereotypically speaking, because you thrive on injustice, and some of it perceived, some of it real. And look, we live in a democracy. I love the fact we have left and right thinking in a big space in between. That's fantastic. But I would also like to see consistency regardless. And the idea that somebody, just because they're of the left, has almost this horrendous, in fact disturbing wall of silence around grooming gangs. They can't bring themselves to even go there for some strange reason.
And that's because we've spent 30, 40 years now developing this woke agenda, which comes down to the oppressed and the oppressor. It's like the victim Olympics. Some people are perpetually the victims in our society. If you're black, if you're foreign, if you've got a different religion, and they have now become the priestly class. You've got to worship them. And for some, and don't forget, we're tribal creatures. We all can fall at this hurdle. We're tribal creatures. Once we've picked a side, many people will not be talked out of belonging to that tribe, that side. It'll be like a football game. Most Manchester United supporters will never flip to be a Liverpool supporter, no matter what happens. So people pick a side, and then their brain says to them, you need to reject the evidence that goes against what you already believe. And it's tribal, and we're becoming more and more tribal. We're splitting into different sections of society now, and this is only going down one path. And I think last time I was on your show, I think I said this is leading to violence.
Yeah. I think you're right, Nick. And, you know, social media, of course, has fueled it somewhat. There's a bit of that going on as well. Is there, you know, we asked the question at the beginning, how do we bring back sanity to the UK? And naturally, a lot of people have contacted and said, well, you know, Reform will do it, they will do it. You know, Nigel Farage is on the team sheet when it comes to this kind of thinking. He gets it. There are other detractors that aren't necessarily quite so sure that everything's just suddenly change and this, you know, great utopian place called the UK is going to suddenly rekindle and rise from the ashes. So, but is that our best hope? Is our best hope another political party, not one of the main two?
I think that's a fantastic question, because I see this on social media all the time. Reform UK are going to be better than Labour and the Tories. Of course they are. I don't think anyone could be worse. So, you know, it's a very low bar. They're going to be better. What we need to stop doing is elevating politicians and political parties to the divine, to the Messiah. Nigel Farage isn't going to save you. The only person who can save you and your country is you. All of us need to start accepting more personal responsibility. We all need to be better citizens. We need to be better voters, because we allowed this to happen. Yeah. We allowed our country to fail. We allowed this deterioration over all my life. Over 60 years, we've allowed this to happen. And that's because we gave all our personal responsibility to different politicians and different political parties. Let's stop doing that mistake. So Reform are part of the answer. But if you think Reform are going to save this country, if you think Nigel Farage is the Messiah, you're making the same mistakes you made 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago.
And in fairness, I think Mr Farage would advise the same thing as well. You know, he can be part of the solution, but the rest of us have to, you know, also play our bit as well. Listen, Nick, great to see you again. Lovely to have you on, my friend. Nick Buckley, MBE, former Manchester mayoral candidate and author. Check out Nick's work.